pissed because I'm like shaking right now because people are just being really unnecessarily cruel. And like, I don't bother anyone. I don't hurt anyone. I don't do anything malicious. I know you're probably thinking, well, didn't we just hear about you like punching a girl at Waffle House? That was actually like, she kind of deserved it.
Peace, Love, and Cupcakes on Facebook is having a little issue this week. Well, why is this little bakery shop under fire? Let's find out. To our beautiful PLC community, Peace, Love, and Cupcakes. Near and far, I want to reach out before things go quiet for just a little while here on the page. From the very beginning in 2011, when I was just a new mom working as a waitress, teaching myself how to bake and decorate, so many of you have been here, and then came countless more of you who discovered us during different chapters along the way, and whether you're one of the OGs or more recently got on the bus, it is you who has been at the heart of everything we've built. So it's important to me to speak to you directly and from my heart. Our family is going through an incredibly painful and frightening time, and I'm not even referring to our current situation, which also falls under that category. Something that we have addressed in the past resurfaced on here the other day in a pretty major way, and as usual has led to relentless harassment, including a barrage of threats for the safety and well-being of my family, our children especially. I will be stepping away from public social media for a short time while we decide our best course of action going forward. Well, what is going on? I barely slept last night. I cried a few times, even went to the point of shaking because of how many death threats we received yesterday. They continued throughout the day, regardless of what you think or how you feel about us. That is not okay. What's getting to me the most is this. They used to claim I didn't deserve to be successful. Well, why did they say that about you? That it was bothering them to see my career reaching new heights. Oh my gosh, why would they say that? To see me happy, they said that we didn't deserve to live a good life. Oh my God.
Why?
Now here we are, at our absolute lowest, ashamed as can be, dreams shattered, feeling like failures. What we haven't lost is packed into storage, because we are homeless now. They could literally just be sitting back, soaking it all. Who is they? Laughing and claiming victory. Who is they? But apparently this isn't enough for them, so what is it they want? What exactly is their end game? They want us dead. And they've made themselves clear on that. Deep breath. Yes, Chris is on the offender registry.
Life could be worse. No, not really.
Who's Chris? Her husband. I have never denied that. You should have. I would never tell people that.
It's like super weird to me that people keep talking like I don't work. I mean, I currently have a job. I also have been in New York, like I think we just hit 2 weeks today, maybe. And I'm working on it, like I'm actually in talks. And Chris has had a job set up since before we even got up here, like part-time thing.
So what had happened was these two had like a brick and mortar bakery, a real shop. And people found out that her husband was on the registry and she started getting hate. I don't know exactly how. I don't know exactly what went down. But it ended up they had to go out of business, the actual shop. But then she would continue to like take orders online, basically on her Facebook account. And periodically she was posting these GoFundMes and like asking people to donate to them. And she was getting flack for that as well. So she goes off on this tangent about how people are saying she doesn't work and da-da-da-da. And now she's going off about how she does work and they're homeless and it's not her fault, essentially.
And is in talks about a few other things. So, aside from that, though, I went to Kentucky in November of 2023, and immediately started a job the day after I got there. And, I did not stop working until, I stopped working at that first job, but less than a week later, I started at the Waffle House, where I was until June of 24, and then I was asked to come back there in late September of 24. So I was gone from there for a few months, but I worked at the New York State Fair. I worked a few NASCAR races. I shipped thousands of cookies. I'm constantly working and earning money.
I would never marry one of those because there's lots of men out there that aren't on the list. I've been nothing but transparent about it. I cannot make anyone believe or even hear our side. I accepted that a long time ago. but I'm going to share it again. If they get to do what they do, then we get to speak our piece. So in the comments below, you will find links to past posts where we have explained this in all the detail. You will also find links to a few other posts that I find relevant to the situation. I hope you'll take the time to read them before forming an opinion or unfollowing. I'll read them, but I've definitely formed an opinion. So I clicked one of the links that she posts in the comment section, and it led me to this 2019 post where when she had the actual bakery, and then she says that a rival baker found out that her husband was on the registry and was threatening to tell people. So she's like, I'm gonna just tell you guys first. And she goes on to say that in 2006, her husband was 20 years old and for some reason was babysitting a little girl in the neighborhood, and that little girl accused him of touching her. They had already been dating, and she says it's impossible that he actually touched this girl because we were on the phone all night long, and everyone knows that my husband would never do such a thing. And the only reason he took the plea deal is because he was a scared little boy. He was 20 years old, and she's like, the detectives bombarded him and he should have had a parent present. He was 20 years old. And she goes on to say that she's known him her whole life. They grew up together, yada, yada, yada. Well, in 2006, he was 20 years old. Guess how old Miss Ma'am Rebecca Peace, Love, and Cupcakes was in 2006? She was 16 years old, and he was 20, and they were dating. But again, can't make anyone do anything. If this is goodbye, I understand. I have lost countless opportunities that could have changed my life. Well, why did you marry a offender? I have had awards and accolades ripped away from me, things that I deserved that I earned, some of them publicly and in a manner that absolutely crushed my spirit. My children have lost friends because their parents don't want them around a registered offender. It's actually not safe. You're not being oppressed right now.
Mothers can behave this way when the situation involves children. In the last months of like the bakery, on top of all everything we were facing, like my heart was like not in it anymore, because people were being, I mean, there's things that like, some things you guys don't even know about, that things, I mean, people threw a brick through our van window outside of where my kids were sleeping. Like, this isn't just Facebook comments. Like, when we were moving, I found a letter that came in mid-July, that Chris had showed me when it came, and I was like, oh, it's probably our home processing recertification. I'm not gonna worry about that right now, because I didn't have the money. We had just lost our jobs. And he must have just, you know, stuck it in a pile of mail, like things do. And when we were moving, I found it and I opened it up and I actually read it, and it was from the like state of Kentucky, their food, you know, regulatory things, not even my county, the whole state. And they know that I'm a home processor, like I'm a registered home processor in Kentucky. But they said, we heard you're shipping goods to other states and you're not allowed to do that. And originally I was doing that the right way. We had a health permit. We were doing it out of a kitchen. And it just, we weren't for a very long time doing it anymore. So we stopped doing that. For 7 months, we didn't do any baking because we were working so much, and working overnight. So we were sleeping all day, and we didn't do it. So when we lost our jobs, about a week and a half into July, that was right after that is when we decided to finally take orders again. And I explained why we were taking the orders. Like, I explained we had just lost our jobs, and someone decided to call and report us to the state of Kentucky, like right away. That's working. Like, we were working. So you judge me for not working. You tell me to get a job, but you report me when I'm working and earning my money. Like, you realize that that's our job. Yeah, I haven't asked anyone for anything. Today was the first day that I even made a post asking for something. I didn't even really ask. I just said, hey, I keep getting a lot of messages and comments where people are like, how can we help you? Like, that happens every day because people care. They're not all like assholes like some of you. Some people care. So, I have a husband who loves me, kids who think the world of me, and some of the most amazing friends that a person could literally possibly ask for. You think they love a shitty person? There's 4 children involved. Like, what is wrong with some of you? You're mothers. Like, do you realize we're all one? Like, we are all so interconnected in ways that we can barely even process. And the earth is going through something.
You made a choice, and you did not have to choose this life. They got regular men out there. I know, it's hard to believe. But there's more that aren't on the registry than there are ones on the registry. So it's almost like you had to go directly to the registry and look through their pictures and be like, this one. Because if you just go out into the world and pick one off the street, they're less likely to be a registered offender. But the fact that he was already a registered offender, that should be disqualifying. I'm sorry. It should be. Can't say that we've lost any real friends, but definitely some acquaintances. My mental health and nervous system has taken blow after blow after blow. Our privacy has been invaded. Our property destroyed. I have been called horrific names. Well, accused of things I won't repeat. And to this day, I believe I would have fought harder to save the bakery if my heart was still in it the way it was before. You didn't have to... Anyways. This is not just online drama. This is targeted harassment. This is doxing. This is cruel and sadistic. This is psychological warfare. And not one person has ever been held responsible. And believe me, we've tried. I'm sure you did. I want to tell one quick story before I go that I haven't shared before now. The story is horrendous. It's about how they tried to get Chris off the registry prior, but because he failed to register and didn't comply and did a bunch of other fucked up shit, they were like, no, we're not going to allow you to get off the offender registry even though you've paid a high price attorney. And she somehow manages to spin this story as if she is once again a victim of something. Let's read it, shall we? Okay. I've never shared this story before now, guys. In 2021 or 22, Chris and I finally decided to obtain legal counsel because of the fact that so many people were part of this, and because many used fake profiles, it was going to be a challenge to pursue libel, slander, defamation. We decided to focus instead on petitioning for his removal from the registry. Our lawyer, who was fantastic by the way, put so much effort into this. We worked on it for nearly 2 years. He and his team gathered tons of information dating all the way back to 2006 and had us request character letters from people we knew. By the way, we received more than they had ever seen, and all of them incredibly heartfelt and genuine. And with that, they built a rock solid petition that was all but granted. It was practically a done deal. Sure it was, honey. We were just waiting to hear the word. Mistakenly, I talked about it publicly, and I believe someone knew someone who knew someone. And okay, so again, you're a victim and people are just against you for no reason, of course.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Now everybody's ganging up against me. For what?
A plot was made. Though I'll never be able to prove it. But anyways, early one morning, mid-2023, when the sun had barely come up, a couple of cops came pounding on our door, and right then, they arrested Chris for failing to register. So he failed to register, which is a requirement of his parole, probation, whatever. When he took that deal or was convicted, whatever happened with his arrest and crime to get him put on the registry, part of that was that he had to register once a year or however many years. I don't know, because I actually don't know any offenders in real life that I'm close enough with them that I know they're a registered offender and that I know what it's like to have to be one, because I don't go out of my way to make people like that in my life. Anywho, good old Chris failed to register that year and the cops came and arrested him. And then everything he ever did trying to get off the registry, which I doubt that was not going to happen, because wait till I tell you what he did. Okay? This man was not getting on the registry. Okay. In my opinion, of course. I put the registry in the mail just a month or two earlier. Why are you doing it for him? He's supposed to do that shit. I am so tired of these women that take up for these registered offenders and they just do everything for them. What do you mean you put it in the mail? He needs to get off his butt and go take it down in person and make sure that shit gets in, or however it works. But damn, I put it in the mail. It got lost in the mail. Got lost in the mail. Sure did. Sure did. Like I had done every year for the past 16 years. You've been doing this for this man for 16 years? Huh? Okay. I swear I did, but they claimed they hadn't received it and they took him away. He spent all day and into the night in the Justice Center. His lawyer got right to work trying to get him released, but in the end, the entire thing was dropped. Not even put on his record because it turned out it wasn't an arrestable offense. His address had been the same for 6 years. Failure to register can be a charge when the individual has moved. Okay, so they didn't charge him, but they still didn't let him get off the registry. And he shouldn't be off the registry. It seems someone somewhere along the line should have known this, but again, there was a plot unfolding. He still failed to register even if he hadn't moved. Like, you're lucky that the consequences weren't worse, but again, you're taking that as a reason to complain that you're somehow oppressed again. But y'all did fail to register him. Just because you didn't move doesn't mean that you don't have to register again. Hello? There was a plot unfolding, and it was successful because the board that was set to approve his petition learned of his arrest and denied it on the spot. That's what happens, bitch, okay? All of that work on behalf of the lawyers, that's what you get for doing all that work for someone who did something like this. Just like that. All that work on behalf of the lawyers, all the hope we had felt that maybe we could put an end to this, gone. My depression worsened. I moved to Kentucky a short time later, and every day I wonder if we should have stayed right there. Is he allowed to move to Kentucky? But we're here in Syracuse, and apparently some people don't like that ow, I just poked myself in the eye. That our lives are being threatened, and our children's safety and well-being is at risk. Is he allowed to have children? We can't keep living this way. We shouldn't have to. Yes, you should. In my opinion. Please know that your love and support means the world. Are you ready for good old Chris? Chris Riley, convicted child predator. Parents and residents are encouraged to stay informed about registered offenders in their area. Christopher Riley is a level 2 medium risk registered offender currently listed as residing in Kentucky, but we have received reports that him, his wife, and kids are back in Syracuse, where he was originally charged and convicted. Christopher Riley was convicted in 2006 of one count of attempted SA first degree. His victim was a child under the age of 11. Sentenced to 5 years of probation, 6 months in jail. Now this is allegedly comments by the mother of the victim. I feel I'm finally being heard. I have been telling people on her page for years that her husband is a registered offender, and people still defend her and stayed following her. With the amount of comments on here, I hope they lose everything, and now they are both POSs. 2 years ago, the mother of the victim said, I am the mother of the child. Here is the other side, because people, of course, are going to comment, there's 2 sides to every story. She was 5. She was 5 years old. Now, I don't have that in a court document. I don't have that in some kind of official receipt, transcript. I have a comment on Facebook by the alleged mother of the victim saying it. So you could take the age of the victim with a grain of salt. We know from a news report that the victim was under 11. It didn't say 11 or under. It said under 11. So 10 or under. And then we have a comment saying that she was 5. That man was not getting off the offender status anyway, in my opinion. My biggest pet peeve is when these people want to be influencers so bad. Why do you want to be an influencer? You have a secret, ma'am. Keep your secret in the backyard. Keep them in a kennel. Put them in the basement, you know? He needs to work from home. You're supposed to feel shame. Stop showing us your shame.
Super quick update about cookies. It's taken way longer than expected to get everything going here, and I'm so sorry. There was hurdle after hurdle in moving a business from this state to this state, which we found to be nearly impossible, so we kind of had to start fresh. And then we had to get insurance in order, and the last hurdle was the health department, and they're impossible to reach here. I've gone in person multiple times. I've called, I've sent emails, and I finally got a hold of someone yesterday. I scheduled an inspection for tomorrow, and then the woman who runs the cooking studio told me she wasn't available until Friday. The health department is closed for Good Friday. Just my luck. And then she's not available again until next Wednesday. So we won't be able to do our inspection until next Wednesday. I know it's a lot longer than we said initially. I completely understand if anyone wants refunds. But basically, I'm promising you right now, we will be shipping out by the end of next week. Whether that inspection, comes along and something else holds us up, we'll just start baking and shipping, and we'll take any penalties that come our way, because this just isn't right to you guys. And we're trying to take all the right avenues. We're trying to do everything right, and we just keep getting thrown curveballs. And in between, I'm working full time and raising 4 kids, and I'm just trying to get all of this done, and they don't make it easy for you. But we're getting there. We're getting there. We literally have everything ready to go except for this health inspection. So yeah, hopefully we'll get that out of the way. Everything will go smoothly, and we'll be good to go. But like I said, no matter what, I think we're just at the point where we're going to make this happen for you guys. And like I said, anyone who wants a refund, I completely understand. Just reach out. We'll make that happen for you. But hopefully you can hang in there just a little bit longer. And we love you.
Let me know what you guys thought of this story in the comments. Thanks for watching.